Okay, so I'm gonna show you another way of finding out the last used row and column in the particular sheet. Um, in this particular one, if you look at this, the last in order to identify the last used row and column, the simplest way of recording it and trying it out yourself is um, hit Control key, record, and OK. And from your keyboard, just press Control and then press on End and the key, END, and see what happens. So if I do that, it goes to this particular cell, which is my last use um, row and column. So if I enter any value here and I do the same thing, let's say my cursor is here anywhere, and Control End, it goes to this particular cell. So that way I can also identify the last used row and column. So basically this particular the first one is using that method. So from here, if I run this, if I just run this, it just gives me last used LR and LC, the last from the used range of the current sheet. The last row is 17 and the last column is 13, and then the first row and first column is 4 and 1. So the row is starting at 4 and then the column, the data is starting at 1. So you might find this especially when you're working with the very dynamic range, you'll find it very useful to have all this, the first row where the data is starting and ending, so that you can make your range very dynamic, and it should not stop working when few of the other stuff has changed. Okay, so let's look at the code that we have created. So basically here, if you look at this active cell, special cell, last cell, select. So basically this particular line is returned from Control plus and key. When you hit this particular line will be created. This is where I enter the test data. It's already getting recorded, and then similarly other syntaxes, so just ignore them. So this is the particular line that will help you to create the syntax like this. So this is getting the last row, and then the use range as well. You can manipulate that, you can generate that using your code as well. So the other thing you need to keep in mind for use range is even if you've cleared this, just as clear as in like just clear the content, it's still gonna think that the last cell, which is the last row of data, which is data, the last row which is data in it will be this. So this is not 100% reliable unless you know who maintains it and how you're maintaining it. So if you clear this, if you select the whole thing from here till the last column and hit clear all, and then you save it, it will come back to this particular cell. However, if there is any formatting, any value which was entered earlier and just got cleared off, it's still gonna think that particular cell is the last cell which is the data. So just keep that in mind. The other thing you need to keep in mind is when you are trying to find out the LR, for instance, it's possible that your sheet has the data in it which is filtered. So if your particular sheet is, if I run this, the LR here is gonna be the 6 and not the actual 46. So the best way is to remove the filter. The syntax for that will be here. I'll say should this dot auto filter mode is equal to false. So basically what this is gonna do is, if there's any filter in it, it's gonna remove it first and apply the LR. So that will give me 46, and you can run it. So I'll leave it up to you to use any of this function. You can just copy each of this line and try to use them in your code. I've also included like from the selection, if I want to find out what is the last row that has what is the last row of within the selected range. So you can just simply run this particular code. So basically it's saying that the row which is being selected first plus the rows count, so this particular row plus the rows of all the count of all the rows that is being selected, so -1 just to exclude the first line which is already counted. So if I select this and if I run this, now, it's gonna give me 17. So from this particular selected portion, 17 is my last row. So you might also find that useful at times. And then we have like the search. So we can find out, like using the text string, you can find out use find function here, and you can use the word that you're finding. This is the word that you're finding, and the match case is true. So basically, if you want to find out where let's say that someone has sent you so many tables, like the top 10 and bottom 10 and multiple like product reports, so many reports with a similar data like this, and then it has some indicator like ID or let's say something like this, and you have to find each and every one of them and then do certain activity on it. So the best way is to use the find method, and then you can find the string and then use the particular cell which is found. We can manipulate that cell property to get the row or the column. So for this example, I can just try to run this. So it says enter the value to search. I'll just write A1, and right now this is cells. So basically cells is the whole particular sheet, but you can also make it to column 1 or to the range where you want it to be searched. So if I just run this, so it says A4. It says that A1 is located in A4. So you can use this to get like cell position dot row, which is 4. So instead of LR or the start row or start column, you can use this method to create your range more dynamic. So the one last thing I want to include here is, for example, if you have to create a dynamic range which is both rows as well as column dynamic, then you can use a syntax like this. So let's say you want to select a range, but then in that particular range, if you look at the recording we've done, if you record, you'll find that the range are normally recorded in this manner. However, you want to include the values in it, like the last row, the last column, the first row, and the first and the last row. So what you can do is you can use this particular syntax. Try to put it in a new module. Dynamic range, and I'll call this dim LR. Okay, this particular sign represents long, so dim LCS long, so which is same as this. All right, so range, and then you can use cells, and then this is the row index, and then the column index, and then cells, and then row index and column index again. So you can use the method or members. So basically this is saying that, so if you have to use your dynamic rows and columns, you can put in like LR here, or so this is the first part of it. So let's say that you want to manipulate a range or create a range like this. So A1 will still remain A1. However, let's say that you want your column R to be dynamic and 36 to be dynamic. So this particular place or space is where you do your editing. So here you can put your last row and then last column, so you can make it dynamic. So to find the last row and last column, you'll have to use any of the function I put in together here. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll just quickly show you how to copy the data and then from one sheet to another, because we are already done with sorting or filtering. So let's say I record a data macro, and then I copy this data. Okay, so it basically copied the data from customer tab to sheet 1 tab. However, when you copy the data, you want the last row to be included. So this is copy data. So I'll just remove the unwanted syntax. So basically it's saying go to this particular customer tab and then copy this, range this copy, and then I'm not gonna, and then you can say I don't want to add a sheet in it every time, so I'll just remove all this, and then I'll say sheet 1 dot select, and then range A1 dot paste special as values, and then paste special as formats, and then just remove the clipboard. So this is where it removes the clears the clipboard. So if I run this, it's just gonna copy this particular portion all the time. So we need to include the LR. So I'll just go here and get the syntax for LR. So I'll just copy this. Okay. Just to ensure that all your code is looking good, just go to debug and compile the project. Alright, so even if you put the LR here, you have to just make sure which particular tab it is referring to, which column it is using it as a key to identify the last row. Plus you have to make changes here. So this 46 represents the row number, so I'm just gonna remove them and concatenate them with LR. Okay, so coming back here, if I include one more row of data, it should include that as well when I run this code. So let's go to this, so you can see that it has included the last all the data in it. So this is all I've got for today. Like always, please feel free to reach out to me for any questions, and do comment on my video. If you have not subscribed to my video, please do so. And if you have any topic in your mind that you want it to be covered, or you have a doubt, please feel free to write to me, or if you need a video for that, I'll make sure that I'll do it for you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.